guys, Helen Hartsmith here again from the Heart of the Witch's Path YouTube channel. I don't know what happened to my voice there, but well, you know, whatever. Hope you're having a good day. I am. As you can tell, I have a different background here. So why don't we start off this video for just a couple of minutes by talking about and addressing the friends in the room. I haven't really talked about this. I think Kathy and I might have brought things up once or twice or what have you. But we happen to be Barbie collectors. So yes, that's not a Barbie doll. That is actually an Integrity Dynamite Girl doll. But that is a Ken doll. And so I have a collection of Barbie and Ken and different fashion dolls and things like that. And so I will, if I ever do a room tour of my sacred space, which this is a part of my sacred space, then you'll probably see a lot more of that. So maybe it's good that I'm talking about it here and giving you a heads up before you get like a full-blown, what is going on? So anyhow, well, how do I even get into this? So I used to belong to a group that we table-topped a role-playing game called Vampire the Masquerade. It was done by a company called White Wolf. It was later bought by another company, I don't remember. But anyhow, it's supernatural creatures. There's different game systems for different types of creatures that are geared toward different styles of gaming. So there was mummy, there was werewolf, there was changeling, which is your fae, there was wraiths, which are ghosts. There's all kinds of characters, so cats and different things like that. And so I belonged to this group, and we got together once a week and we gamed, and so that was fun. And that was a long time ago. That was like maybe 10 plus years ago or something. And so I happen to like to write stories. And so, so does Kathy. And so we wrote, I know you're like, what does this have to do with Barbies, Helen? Come on. So we would write stories based on the adventures that we played in this game. Kathy maintains a website. If you're interested, I will put a link in the description box so you can go there. And it's basically a place where we can go, and it has all of our gaming stuff. So, you know, we took turns storytelling, and we each had cities, we each had characters, and so we picked celebrities for what our characters looked like, because it was an easy reference to say, this is what this person looks like. And so for any of you who are fans of Supernatural, if you've ever heard of a young lady who goes, I think she's changed her name, but at the time she was Antaka. She had this LiveJournal handle. I think it was LiveJournal, and she did what she called plastic Winchester theater. And so she took Barbies, and she had a plastic Dean and a plastic Sam, and she created her own, you know, funny storylines based on the show Supernatural. And so Kathy and I were fans of that, and we were like, we can do that. And so we started buying Barbies, and the craziness kind of escalated from there. So now these guys are actually characters in one of the stories that I have written that's on the website. So there's fiction there, there's all kinds of resources. So like I said, I'll put a description box. But so what we do with these guys is we do that style, like what Antaka did with plastic Winchester theater. We create sets, much like you see here, and we take pictures that tell the story, and we add dialogue and action and things like that. So that's on the website too. So maybe what I'll do is I'll do a link for the main page and then I'll do a specific link for plastic character theater, and you can see just how nerdy I am as well as witchy. So, so when you see dolls, know that that is why they are a part of my sacred space. So we have dolls that are our characters, and then we also have collector dolls that stay in boxes. So, and there's, like I said, there's a mix of everything in this sacred space. So, have I intrigued you? Do you really want to see my sacred space? Let me know in the comments below. You can also see some of my witchy library here. I have, you see two bookshelves. The one back here is actually like a 3-shelf bookshelf, so it only comes to like right here. The rest of this is like additional units, but this particular shelving unit is a 5-shelf. I have 3 of those. I have a long, narrow bedroom, and so I've gotten creative with my space. So I would cover that in that kind of video. Okay, so let's switch gears to what we really wanted. I knew that folks would probably see the stuff in the background and go, what is happening? But you can also use Barbies for magic. And if you're interested, I can do a video that we can cover that. So again, let me know in the comments section if you're interested in how do you use dolls magically. But this video's actual purpose is to talk about setting goals for yourself. I don't know how much I actually say this in videos. I am an Aries. And so if you know anything about astrology, Aries tend to be very much a person who's kind of, they're highly emotional. They might have like a short fuse, like a quick temper. They kind of fly by the seat of their pants. They're a little unpredictable sometimes. And you know, some might say they're unreliable or always late, or let's see, what other negative, not that I want to negative speak myself, but in that was fine. Those kinds of traits were okay for me to deal with in my 20s, but as I'm growing and maturing and am now much older than my 20s, I've really been making an effort to organize myself and organize my time. And sometimes I'm good with it and sometimes I'm not. I think we all kind of get introduced to what a goal list is from like an early age, but I've really found that I am a very visual person. And so I work well with lists. You should see my desk at work. I have lists for all of my tasks that I need to do, you know, and they're prioritized. And when I finish a task, I'm super happy to take that little scrap of paper and crumple it up and throw it in the garbage. I feel very much as if I've accomplished something. And so I never really had a goal list per se until I was introduced with the idea of doing a magical goal list during my final year. So that would be year 5 with the Temple of Witchcraft Mystery School. And so that's been a couple of years now. And I have found that I really liked the idea. And so as I've, you know, been looking at composing, changing my goal list for 2019, I thought, well, gosh, this might be an interesting idea for a video. And maybe some folks out there would get something out of me talking about my process. Okay. So, my first suggestion for you to do a goal list is to write it down somewhere. Now, I know that a lot of folks have, you know, digital devices. You've got your smartphones, you've got tablets, you've got laptops and things like that. And there's lots of places, lots of ways that you can do a goal list that way. I personally have found that I don't do well using anything in that particular manner because I don't reference it, because I'm a visual person, and I guess I'm almost like a tactile person too. I like to see things. I like to hold them. I like to be able to manipulate them. I like to be able to access it without, you know, if my phone goes dead, then I can't get to my list or I can't get to my calendar. So I definitely am a person that I need to have a physical planner calendar too. And so maintaining that planner, holy cow, that was a game changer for my organizational skills for my time, because I was actually the kind of person that would schedule 2 or 3 things on the same day that I would forget about one and say, oh yeah, I can help you move, when, oh, wait a minute, I was supposed to, you know, go help somebody do something else. So a planner was a game changer for me. So write your list down somewhere. And the cool thing about physically writing it down, for me personally, is I'm taking time of myself to actually write it down. And so I almost feel like there's a magical intent just in putting the pen to paper or the pencil to paper. Okay, so let me just grab here. So this is, let me close this and show you. This is actually my current journal. So I found that these work best for me. These are the 5-star notebooks. Remember when these came out, like in the 80s or something? Yep, still using them. I like them because they have a really durable cover that doesn't get mucked up. And I really like the idea of a spiral notebook because it opens up like this. But one thing that I noticed about myself and spiral bound things, because I've had planners and I've even had a version of my book of light that was spiral bound. But when I put it in a bag and take it somewhere, the spiral got screwed up super quickly. So I like these 5-star because there's actually this like fabric covering here, so the spiral doesn't get messed up and crushed, you know, and catch on things and all that kind of stuff. So this is like my journal of choice. I've done many now, and they actually have these really cool pockets that will actually come out and such, and there's a pocket on one side, you flip it over, there's a pocket on the other. So this is my current journal, and what I do with my goal lists for the year is I will go to the back of the journal, thusly, and I will write it down. So I think that this has been helpful for me because it's tangible. It's that tangible. It's something that I visually see. It's something that I go to and I look at periodically to say, oh yeah, I'm working on that. I'm doing that. Ooh, I need to step up my game on this particular item and things like that. So I feel like it's been a really helpful thing for me personally. That's why I'm sharing it with you guys. So, when it comes to actually formulating your list, I mean, you could have different types of goal lists. Like you could have, actually in looking at this, I don't actually just have tasks on here that are magic oriented or there are some mundane tasks, and it's not like I have a goal to work a spell every day or something like that, but there might be a mundane task that I need that involves my magical things. For instance, I have on here that I want to organize my herbs this year, so you know that has to do with my magical path, but it's not necessarily, but it's more of a mundane task. So you could do separate lists for yourself. Like if you wanted, you know, a separate magical goal list from a mundane list, you can do whatever you want with your goal list. I'm just kind of sharing what I do with mine. So, I would make a suggestion that when it comes to thinking about like the individual things that you want to put on your goal list, I would say to do some big things and to do some small things. That way you can, you know, you do a small thing and you can kind of like scratch it off. You might even want to You might even want to like individualize things. So I know, for instance, the at the very top of my list, I've gotten a lot of books towards the tail end of 2018. And so I really want to I have many books that I haven't had a chance to read yet. And so I'm like, okay, I can't just keep these books without reading them, because that's just silly and a waste of space in my very small home. So the first goal on my list is to read a book a month. And so when I did my very first goal list for my year 5 in class, I did, because I'm not a fast reader, which is fine, you know, it is what it is. I did a goal of reading a book a quarter. So a book every 3 months, because you don't want to like overtax yourself in your goals. You don't want to like set yourself up for failure by putting things on your goal list that you can't accomplish. And so I actually did read a book a quarter for like 2 years. And so now, and I did that successfully. And so now I'm trying to up my game, and I'm going to try to read a book a month. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I need to do a book every 2 months. We'll see. But you know, those are the types of things that I would suggest, so you feel like you're succeeding. So actually, what I might want to do on my goal list, if you're somebody that really needs a lot of positive reinforcement, maybe you have separate items for read a book in January, read a book in February, read a book in March. And when you do that, you can cross them off the list, and then you can say, I crossed something off my goal list. Yes! You know, that kind of a thing. So little things, big things. So like a big thing for me this year is to film my sacred space. That's like a big thing, because I've been really trying to work on purging. And I've been wanting to film my sacred space, but it's been a matter of having everything in a tidy manner all at the same time so that I can film all together. That's kind of tough when you're in a small space and things are in flux and you're trying to purge and have a lot of stuff, basically. So I'm not a hoarder, don't think that, but you know, I mean, look at these bookshelves. They are total. This is the front section of books, and there's more books behind. So, you know, it's that kind of thing. So anyhow, big things, little things. What else did I want to talk about with, oh, right. So when Kathy and I joined Crystal, our friend Crystal, she's been in videos and podcasts and things like that. Crystal and her sister founded a group called Keepers of the Hearth, and it is a family tradition of Wicca. And so Keepers of the Hearth is kind of like an umbrella organization, and then there's different family covens that belong to Keepers of the Hearth. And so the coven that Kathy and I founded, Mystics of Reallure, we are actually under Keepers of the Hearth. We are a coven under Keepers of the Hearth. And so as such, we took classes through Crystal and her sister. And one of the assignments that they suggest for each of their years in their mystery school is that you select, let's see if I can remember everything. You select a stone to work with for a year. You select a plant to work with for a year. You select a form of divination, and you select a pantheon. And so in doing those types, so you spend the year individually, you want to research those things, and like if you're working with rosemary, then you want to look at its, you know, does it have medicinal properties? Does it have can you cook with it? Can you eat it? What are its magical properties? You might try growing one and things like that. And so that's something that they started us on. And unfortunately, I don't feel like a year is necessarily enough time for some things. And so if I feel like I need to take an additional year with that, then I will. But this year I really want to, well, actually, the pantheon that I selected for myself for last year was the Aztec pantheon, and I didn't have a lot of time to work on it, so I'm going to continue working on that this year. I still haven't selected a plant or a stone, and I guess I really should do that since I'm, you know, drawing on the tail end of January. Where does the time go? But I think for divination, I think I really want to come back to tarot and oracle and deepen my relationship with them. That's something that I've been working on, and I really like the progress that I'm making with that. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay. I prattled on now for a good amount of time. So goal lists, I think that they're a good thing. I have totally benefited from it. And so I would suggest that, you know, if you're struggling with some things for yourself, then, you know, maybe making a list would be a good thing. So let me know if you do a goal list? If so, how does it work for you? Are you inspired maybe now to do a goal list and try it and see how it works for you? I mean, you don't have to do it for a year. You can set up your own kind of parameters about stuff. You can say, I'm gonna make a goal list for the month. That works too. You can do a goal list for the week. Things like that. So if you're inspired by this, then let me know, because, you know, I like to know that, you know, I'm doing some content that's making a difference for people, basically. That's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, or if you learned something from it, then give it a thumbs up, because we like thumbs ups around here. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, people. Make a comment below, or if you're not comfortable leaving a comment, then you're free to email me at heartofthewitchespath@yahoo.com, and there will be a link for that in the description box. There's also links for the YouTube page and for my Instagram and for Kathy's Instagram, so make sure to check those out if you're so inclined. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and thanks for walking the path for a little while with me. Until next time, blessed be.